there, football fans. How are you doing today? Today's Saturday, and we're doing a Saturday afternoon edition of our weekly review preview. We have 3 games slated for today. Our 1 o'clock game, we have Indy and Minnesota. 4:30 game is Baltimore and Cleveland, and the 8:15 game is Buffalo and Miami. We're getting deep into the season now, so a lot of these games, especially for teams in the hunt, mean quite a lot. So there's definitely some teams here who need to try to make sure they win. Some teams that are just it doesn't really matter. But realistically, what you're looking at here is our 1 o'clock game is Indy and Minnesota. Now Minnesota right now sits with the third best record in the NFC, behind the Niners who just won. They're at 10-3 right now. And this is a game where Indy's pretty much, their season's kind of a wash at this point. Expecting much more out of them is kind of silly. I know they're going to go out and they're going to play, accept pride, and you're talking about Jeff Saturday, and technically he's kind of auditioning for potentially having that full-time job over there as a head coach. And then you have Minnesota here. Minnesota's they've shown a little weakness a couple of these games later down the stretch here. They came out real strong, and even though Cousins and Jefferson have had some really impressive games, even like last week where they lost. The numbers are great, and it's great that you came out and you put up some great numbers, but you got to make sure you put up wins. You have a guy who catches 11 balls for 223 yards. You got to make sure he's getting in the end zone. It's great. You can put up all the yards you want between the 20 and the 20, but you got to make sure you get into the end zone. You got to get your team ahead. Unfortunately, there's no Super Bowl for statistics. And so unfortunately, these guys got to make sure they come out and they win these games. And this is an important one for Minnesota to win. A little less important for Indy to win. Again, this is more of a pride game. You got some guys going in trying to make sure that they're still they play a full season. Who knows? Maybe Matt Ryan does something towards the end of the season to turn the team around enough where they're confident and sticking with him at least for some part of the year next year. I don't know. But on the other side, I took Minnesota to win this one 28-17. I do expect Minnesota to come out and play well. Indy does have some good guys over there on the defensive side, but I think it's going to be hard for them to really for Indy to really stop what Minnesota's got going on over there. They got a hell of a 1-2 punch over there with these guys. I think this one should probably go the way it is going to go, but who knows, this could, something could come out and, these guys could prove me wrong. These guys could pull up their bootstraps, come out swinging and, give it a little go, but, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. For our 4:30 game, we got Baltimore and Cleveland. This game is this game right now it's kind of it's a wash at this point because really, Baltimore. I took Cleveland to upset only because I figured Deshaun Watson has to, he's got to get one at some point. He looked a little better last week. Maybe this is a week everything clicks. Plus, Baltimore's playing without Lamar, and that's going to be a bit. That's a big issue going into the game. Huntley did okay. I'm not sure if Huntley's actually going to play. I know he missed some of the game last week. I don't know if he's been cleared to play yet today. I didn't see him on an injury report, so I'm assuming he's going to be starting. But at the same time, who knows? It's the NFL. Stuff gets crazy. On the other side, you had Chubb's been kind of quiet the last couple weeks. He's kind of dropped himself out of that lead hunt for the yards right now. I think the rushing title right now is Josh Jacobs has it, and then Henry's behind him, and there is a bit of a gap, but Henry can put up a 200-yard game any week. So it's there's Chubb's got to. For this team to win, I think you got to find the balance between Chubb, what Watson's going to be able to do. I know they're still trying to test him out and stuff like that. He's only his second game in, but Baltimore right now is a divisional playoff team leader. They're 9-4, and they really can't afford to lose too many games because there's definitely some teams that could nip at their heels. and it'd be a shame to just see a team let off the gas and towards the end of the season and wind up costing themselves a playoff spot. So, with that said, our 8:15 game is probably the most interesting game because this is a divisional game. B, it's really important for both teams, I think. You're looking at Buffalo, Miami. Now, right now, Buffalo is the number one seed in the AFC. They're 10-3, tied with Kansas City, but at the same time, they have the tiebreaker. So. That puts them up ahead. Now, Miami, on the other hand, this is a tough division. Miami right now sits in the sixth spot at 8-5, and New England's right on their heels. And depending on how things go, this could be one of those games that flips those teams, and then puts one of them, in jeopardy. And at the same time, Buffalo, if Buffalo loses, that's gonna, and Kansas City manages to pull out a win, which they're playing Houston this week, so. I feel like Buffalo has to. There's more pressure on Buffalo to win this game because of Kansas City and who they're playing, and the fact that Buffalo really wants to have that home field advantage in the playoffs. So you really need that one spot to do that. That bye week and that home field is huge. Bills Mafia is makes a big impression on some teams. So. But I took Buffalo to win this one 29-21. Miami, again, still has a great offense. It's still Miami we're talking about here right now. We're still talking about Hill and Waddle and Mostert. Wilson's going to be, I think, out for this one. I'm not positive. I think he might be questionable or doubtful. But I think he's going to be out. Mostert's going to be a starter. But again, so you got to go to speedsters. The field's just loaded with speed. And Tua knows how to use these guys. I know they've lost a couple games as of late, but I think Miami. Miami could come out and definitely give Buffalo a run for their money. But I like Buffalo in this one. Buffalo really needs to take these divisional games towards the end of the season, and we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I hope everybody enjoys their Saturday football. We got another round coming next week. So the holiday next week, so there's all kinds of schedule changes because of Christmas. But in the meantime, check out our Sunday preview. We'll see you later. Have a good day, sports fans.